The last thing I need in the fall is another job, Darren. Why would I want to spread my own fertilizer?
Well, here's the whole thing. When you talk about jobs, what do you have a job for? To make money.
Yep.
And when we look at jobs on our farm, there's a lot of things you can do on the farm, and there's a lot of different ways you could spend your time. We want to look for things that are going to pay us at least $100 or more, and those are the jobs that we really want to focus on our farm.
Yeah, per hour. You really can on the farm. There are a lot of different jobs you can do. Doing your own harvesting, doing your own fertilizer application. I'll just tell you, on our farm, we farm about 2,400 acres, and every year we save enough that we're able to earn at least $100 an hour for every hour we put in.
Well, it really starts with addressing the big issue. All right, I'm going to have bulk loads of fertilizer come directly to my farm. How in the world am I going to handle that, and what equipment do I need to have around?
There are both liquid and dry forms of fertilizer. The liquids predominantly are used in the spring, so today we're going to focus primarily on the dry forms of fertilizer out there. And when you get dry bulk fertilizer, it's going to come in a regular grain trailer usually. What we do on our farm, we'll take in fertilizer beginning in August and September, and we're going to spread it out in October or maybe November. We have a couple of old sheds on a farmstead that we bought a few years ago, really weren't using them for anything. They're not worth a lot of money, but we're able to store fertilizer there. The important thing is just keeping it dry. As long as you keep dry fertilizer dry, keep the moisture off of it, it usually stores pretty well.
Well, there are a few ways to deal with fertilizers. Say you're bringing it in hopper bottom semi-trailers. Having an auger that will go underneath that semi is pretty handy. You can unload it right where you want it. Here's the next piece of equipment you may need. Do I need a broadcast fertilizer spreader, or do I need an air cart to band that fertilizer?
Well, let's go beyond that even. How about mixing the stuff before you ever put it into the fertilizer spreader? Mixing fertilizer is really simple.
It's highly scientific, and it takes a degree from college, no doubt, to be able to do this.
Yeah, all you do is you take an old gravity wagon, put a divider down the middle, put your P on one side, your K on the other side, you have a couple of slide gates on the end, and just let it come out. Then it will blend nicely in the auger. You can have a professional looking blend from something as simple as that. The other ways we blend dry fertilizer on our farm, we just a few years ago bought an old tender, an old fertilizer tender. That's got a couple different compartments, or we've got an air cart that has 3 different compartments. So that leads me back to the air cart thing you were talking about. It's nice having the air cart to go spread fertilizer with, especially in a strip till situation, but it's also nice having that air cart because then you can have a precise blend. Like I say, we have 3 different compartments in our air cart that we're using, so we can have 3 different types of fertilizer and blend it according to the needs of that field.
Well, that's a real key. What does your field need? And it comes down to taking some soil samples and then knowing your fields. And that's one of the reasons that I feel so strongly about applying your own fertilizer. You know your fields better than anybody else. You know that, you know what, up on that hill, I always get great crops. I may need a little bit extra there. Or down in that low ground, you know, I never get a crop down there. I've got high fertility levels. Why put a whole load of fertilizer down there? I can get by with a little bit less. You know those things, and you can make those adjustments on your farm. Now, you don't have to be tremendously sharp on soil fertility to do that, but you do need to take some soil samples from time to time, maybe every 4th year in a corn and soybean rotation, maybe every other rotation. Take a sample, see how things are varying out there. Get a little bit of advice from somebody else on the fertility if you need to, but that doesn't stop you from spreading your own fertilizer. There is just a lot of money in it if you do it yourself.
Well, the way I look at the thing is a lot of times you can save $1,000 on a semi-load if you're buying it in a wholesale type fashion. If you can save $1,000, and on our farm we can spread a whole semi-load of fertilizer in less than a day. So, you know, if you're finding something that pays you $1,000 just to work a 10-hour day, there you go, it's a $100 an hour job. Very often though, you get a situation like what we had this last year where guys were saving $200, $300, $400 a ton, and I mean, then it really pays. I mean, there were many farmers we know of that were making $1,000 an hour spreading their own fertilizer this year. It was just ridiculous what some of the gaps were between local fertilizer dealers and the wholesale market. But the biggest thing, coming back to what Darren said, I think, is still you are in control when you're spreading your own fertilizer. You know exactly what you're putting on, you know that you had it, you know where it's going. You're the person in control.
But here's the big question that we get a lot of times. People say, well, I don't know if I've got time to do all that because I'm the main operator. I'm the guy that's going to run the combine. I'm the guy that runs the planter in the spring. Do I have to be that guy
No,
spreading the fertilizer?
You absolutely don't. We could even put somebody as unskilled as Darren on the fertilizer
Oh, no,
spreader, and he
that would be terrible.
he could do a good job. No, seriously, this is a job that you can train your kids to do. I mean, there are a lot of people that on the farm, you can train them to do it, and I'm assuming you can hire your kid for a lot less than $100 an hour. So hopefully there's still some good margin in there for you. But the point is, you know, you've got to figure out a way to make all these things work on the farm. I know that you're busy. We're busy too, but we find a way to get these things done. If it's a priority for you, it will happen. It's not that tough. It doesn't take very much time to spread fertilizer. You just have to do it.
Well, there are a lot of things on your farm that it really pays to do yourself, and one of those is weed control. Can you identify this week's weed?